Salutations! How do you do? It is Battlecry, coming at you with a format you probably don't see, usually, but that's the point. You want something different. You want a little belly here and there, you know what I mean? But guess what? All I can say to you is this. If you play ESO, you probably notice that there's a little thing called meta going around, like Rallying Cry, Oak Fathers, Shattered Fate, Essence Thief, all these things that you're like, wow, this works so well. But then when you get a kill, you know, the problem is you're not even that proud of yourself. In fact, you're like, why am I even doing this? Okay, I'm the best person with Rallying Cry on. Like, that's what you care for? Like, what are you thinking? Where was the originality and the uniqueness that we used to have in ESO? Now it's you run two things and everyone says, oh my gosh, ESO breaks the game. No, you break the game. You break the game because you guys can't let your pride down for more than 5 seconds and die to somebody with Rallying Cry on and not go, hey, I gosh, I need to put it on myself. Like, come on. What are you doing with yourself? So anyway, I did a 24-hour stream with my new build on. I got some clips. It was fun. They're not the best clips in the world, but guess what? I don't give a shit. They're good. They're fun. And here's my wife. She was part of the whole 24-hour stream. Go check her out. Queen Nivara. She's a little shy. But
you're ready to stream, right?
yeah, you know what? See, this is what I'm saying. She needs to be like all prepped and dolled up. She looks fantastic. And you look fantastic. Whoever's watching this right now. But, you know, stay beautiful. Stay handsome. Let's get to work. So here's the build. Master's Perfected Dual Wield. You don't need the perfected version, but it will help. I'm doing double Nirnhoned. I was gonna do penetration, but I kept doing penetration on like every single build for the last, 6 years, so I said F off. And I tried something new, and I've got poison and flame damage for the stats effect procs. And on the back bar, we have the Juggernaut set. I love this set, okay? Nobody I've seen uses it. And the proc basically is going to heal you for like 3-4k when you go to the swap on your back bar if you're under 30% health, which is not that good, but you tie that in with your burst heal and it won't be terrible. And then for 15 seconds, you gain 20,000 armor. So that means that we're hitting over 40,000 armor, when we're in serious danger, and even when we're not, we still have around 30k. So for those 15 seconds, that 20,000 armor buff is procced, and even when you go to your front bar, you still have that 40k armor. So you can be extremely aggressive and then still have insane defense instead of just being defensive on your back bar. And there could be better, but you know what? If we were going for better, or if you clicked on this video for better, you're not gonna find it. Go fucking get Rallying Cry on and be a little bitch, okay? How about some originality and we have fun? I just want fun. So basically, I put trapping poisons on, and you don't need to do that, but I like the immobilization effect. And now we have some flex spots, alright? We have Lady Mali Gada on, whatever the hell that is. Basically, you get that one piece of penetration. When you deal direct damage to a target within 12 meters, create a 5-meter area that after 1 second quickly moves forward and then returns, dealing 3,800 shock damage to enemies, and you apply minor innervation, which is nice because basically you get a small damage effect, but then you get the defensive 10% less critical damage taken, which every single build is doing critical damage right now. Little defense and some offense. I liked it. It was a mix and it's new. It's cool. And I like how it looks when it procs. Let's look at our third set. So we're actually running Spriggans. Now I know you could be running Oak Fathers. You could be running Shattered Fate. But I wanted to go with something that was non-procced, super fun, and also brings me back to the OG times. And I also like that when I'm on my back bar, because I used to run Shattered Fate, but when I'm on my back bar, I still get those, 2,000 maximum stamina, which really helps when you're trying to be defensive. We are running Protective, Swift, and Infused. 1 recovery, and then 2 weapon and spell damage. I have, like, everything golded out besides that one piece of jewelry. if you wanted to make this build like peak, what you could do is take off the shoulder piece, just keep the penetration, or do like one piece of something that you feel like you need, and then you could go with the 430 weapon and spell damage plus major berserk mythic, or you could do Markins. You could do a few different options. Personally, I just don't want to take the time to freaking farm for mythics again. And I also like having a boss set. While I also have Master's Dual Wield. Because, yeah, you could have a boss set and a mythic, but then you can't have, you know, a two-piece. And we want our two-piece. So, I like this, but yeah, you could do insane amounts of damage if you just went for those other mythic options. I don't know if I really looked at the traits with you guys, but basically it's mostly dodge roll, 1 block, 1 divines. The divines and the block, I mean, you could change, but I'm running double divines in 1 block. I think it's pretty nice as well. Now let's look at our character sheet. So I'm running 33 into health and 31 into stamina. I wanted to get over that 30k health margin just to be a little tankier, and it also makes it so that you're not going to get targeted by the entire group. If you're, you know, playing in a group or stuff like that, you will be pretty frightening to look at, especially when they touch you on your back bar. Our stat sheet, it might look pretty underwhelming in the recovery department, but we have champion point passives that help a lot with your recoveries, and if you're running tri potions, you're not going to feel it. Also, if you want to run Jewels of Misrule, you're going to lose some damage. I don't really feel like it's worth running Jewels. However, if you are in Battlegrounds, my recommendation is you run Jewels and you run tripods. I'm not going to have any Battleground footage because I felt like all of my Battleground footage that I got from my 24-hour stream just was not versing teams that were good enough. It looked pretty dog shit, just killing people in two hits. You know, I don't want that. I want you guys to know that I'm versing not terrible people all the time. But, you know, that's what you can say about this build, is when you finally get a good build, you make other people look shitty. And when you're making people look shitty, even when they might not be that shitty, you're doing a good job. We're running the lover because we love to penetrate. My wife just stared at me with a menacing glance. We're going to champion points now. We're running Healing Done. We're going to be running the In-Pen for, you know, the crit resistance, basically, because you need it right now in this meta. Wrathful Strikes. And direct damage done. If you have more champion points, I'm sure you can figure out great places to put them. Now we are running movement speed. This is part of the reason why our recoveries can be so low. While afflicted with the status effect, your core combat skills cost 5% less stage per stage. Basically, that's a 25% cost reduction whenever you have a status effect on you, which you're pretty much going to have that on you no matter what. And then we also have Sustained by Suffering, which gives you 150 health, magic, and stamina recovery when you are under a negative effect. Again, just all the time that's active. And then we have the recovery equipped as well. It would be very useful to get the reduced block, or make it so you can tank more. That's not that useful here, but yeah. That's the champion points. That's our character. And now let's look at skills. So we are running Warding Contingency. What you could do instead of this, if you don't have it, is you could run Surge, but we don't have a lot of crit healing on this build. Like, we don't do a lot of crit damage, so it's not going to give you a ton of critical healing. You could run Entropy. If you run Entropy, then you are getting a boost if you have the passives in the Max Magicka Recovery. You know, those two things. And then also you get the dot, which is pretty nice because we are running Blast Bones, and that's going to mean that we get a 10% extra for damage over time effects. But if you can, this has been a really fun ability. So basically, I run the damage shield. You could go with damage, but I like the defensiveness. And then we do reduce damage taken by 8%. That's a huge amount, especially once I show you guys all of the defensive things we have. This is such a tanky build. You can survive a lot. And then we have Major Brutality. Now, the Major Brutality, I wanted it on there because I wanted to put this with the contingency, and I just didn't really feel like there was a better place to put it. We got Sub-Assault or Deep Fissure. Now, we're not going to Stamina proc because if you go with this, you get the Major and Minor Breach. That is a ton of extra damage. It hits multiple people at once, and it hurts really, really hard, especially when you time your burst with Sub-Assault, Blast Bones, Dawnbreaker. You're in Execute for a lot of people. You'll actually see in some of the clips too, we get like a double kill just because it hurts so bad. Whirling Blades, the extra Execute damage, Rending Slashes for the extra damage off the base hits. The bleed damage actually hits pretty hard because again, we have those passives. Blast Bones, wreck their healing, wreck their damage shield. Just it's a fantastic ability. And also when you're casting this as much as you should be, when they're bow procking, when they're doing anything that hits really hard, it might hit your skeleton instead and save your life. Always play behind your Blast Bones. Our back bar, we're running Temporal Guard, reduces your damage taken by 5%. Blinding Flare, you know, this is a flex spot. You could do Streak if you wanted, but what we like is that Major Protection. Instantly you get 15% damage mitigation. And then I'm gonna put kind of the pieces together right now. So you get 15% constant damage mitigation. When this is on, you get another 8% damage mitigation. And then we are running Deceptive Predator, which gives you Major Evasion, reducing your damage taken from area effects by 10%. And then you take the boss set, and that reduces critical damage done by 10% as well. So, I mean, we're taking such little damage, and then when you add like 15% proc, you got 40,000 plus armor. You know, you're cracked. Healing Soul. We have the Restore Magic and Stamina for a little bit better, you know, recoveries. And then we have Grant Major Vitality, increasing your healing received and damage shield. Basically, for everybody running Blast Bones, it's just an instant. You're back to normal when you have that. Now, Hurricane. This is going to give you your Major Resolve, and then it's also going to give you 50% movement speed, and that damage over time hurts really bad. So when you add these two together, you're at 45% movement speed, increase plus 7% from Swift, and then when you're sprinting, honestly, I don't even know if you need Swift, but I just like having it on. Minor Resolve here, and then your Burst Heal Vigor. If you guys need to know where these are, just let me know. I'm just kind of making the assumption most people are pretty familiar. And then Dawnbreaker, of course. And then not the, you know, this is the stun. We need the stun. The stun helps a lot, especially in group play and, you know, when bursting in 1vx scenarios. Now, I believe that's it. Let's just look one more time. I can maybe show you guys burst a little bit. One sec, my scroll wheel is freaking annoying as hell. It's broken. You pop contingency, usually when you swap to your front bar. So I like to do wings, resolve, pop contingency, put this down, that procs it, then you pull up Blast Bones, heavy attack into L1, 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 put a Blast Bones, and then you are, if you have Dawnbreaker, you know, you can pop that, go for Execute. Blast Bones is almost your main spammable. Like, people don't use Blast Bones as much as you should. That thing comes really fast. You need to be using it as soon as you can. And it is going to be doing that burst damage that Master's Dual Wield isn't the best at. And you really, really are going to want to have that as well. And your dot damage is going to be hitting super hard, so it doesn't, I don't have any, like, I mean, you got rending slashes, but nothing looks like it's a specifically made up dot build. But when you hit people with Dawnbreaker and you're rending them and you have your status effects going off, they're hurting bad. I've killed a lot of Nightblade just running away to dots. Now I'm going to tell you a few other variations to this build. If you want to, this is actually a little stronger single target. What you can do is you go two-handed. You put on either the Vodastron, or you could put on what I just used because I didn't want to farm that shit. It's agility. Put a Maul of Agility with sharpened. And then you run the two-handed uppercut, and you do the morph for the 10% major berserk after casting. And then circle, you make your execute. Now, this is strong. I have tried it. It hurts really bad, but I don't want to be using it again because I've used uppercut since like day one. I used it for years. I'm bored of it. I don't really like it that much, and I think rending slashes is fun. So yeah. Let's think. What would be another variation? You could get rid of your execute and go and put streak on. I had that on for a while, but I felt like the execute kind of put the build together. So yeah, I mean, your variations are uppercut, the mythic, and I believe that's it. I might put more if I can think of them right before I get off the video, but we'll see. Yeah, tune in. Have fun watching the fights. Peace, everybody. That hurt. Yes! Yay! GG. Celia!
Is that right or wrong? I can't remember.
Woohoo! Not cool, man.
The map looks great. We've got Ramos and we have a blue scroll. But we're kind of being pansies and not sieging. Because we are sieging.
Don't bullshit me right now. What's up, bitch? You touching? Man.
Ow! Ow! Oh my gosh.
They know I was making it. They see me rolling. They hate it. Oh, double kill! Look at that. Put that on your PvP montage.
And I got one M. It's just like the blue backed off when.
Oh, now he's fighting us too. Execute. Bitch! This guy is so tanky. The yellow's gonna show up soon. Okay, execute. There you go.
We did it!
He's got his block thing on. Like, one of them, like, does decent damage, but it's only because he has a teammate freaking boosting him so much. Tee.
He's probably gonna come back. I want to try and go through the yellows.
Bye bye! Rallying cry won't save you today! Hello! Where are you?
Trying to get to you, but there's a bunch of yellows coming through the bridge right now.
But I'm through bridge.
Well, I'm trying to get there.
Ow!
I'm dead.
You're never gonna kill me! T! I think I killed somebody. Booyah.
Woo!